So I have
Okay.
here Jerae Davis. She is the founder of Head to Toe app. Jerae, thank you so much for joining the show.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about what Head to Toe is and what it brings to the table.
Head to Toe is a social app for fashion and style where users can capture their own style, share it, and then inspire others. And what we're creating is the mall of the future where users can discover styles from around the world, add to cart the items they like, and get those items shipped directly to their front door.
Quite a lot. And how do you plan on doing this?
So we've already launched, like I said. Right now we're building up our user base, and then from there we can kind of go to different stores, different companies that don't have a great online presence, kind of approach them like, hey, here is kind of like an online, a mall setting where you can get exposure. People can come to this app and see lots of different companies and different brands that they could buy from. And then it makes sense for them to spend their money with us instead of other platforms and aren't necessarily they're seeing an ROI on it.
Are there any specific brands that you have in mind that could really benefit from this, like immediately?
Absolutely. I think one of the big ones for us is Forever 21. They, as you know, they have some of the biggest spaces in shopping malls. However, they just filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy because they kind of failed to create a lasting or a great online presence for their customers. So they filed for bankruptcy, but that's a company that we can say, hey, you lack an online presence. If you use our app, you're going to get that exposure that you wouldn't normally get because people are choosing other websites over yours. And hopefully that'll get them the exposure they need and get them some sales online. So that's definitely one that we've already thought about that we really want to work with at first.
What's the next step? What's the next step for your company? What goal do you have to get to in order to first then go to a Forever 21 and present them this opportunity?
I think the user base is the biggest thing. We just have to build a solid user base so that it makes sense for a company to want to partner with us. Obviously, companies, when they spend advertising dollars and when they make deals, they want it to benefit them, and we want it to benefit both of us. So I think just building up our user base with people who are ready and willing to shop online and who already shop online as well and looking for something that's a little bit more seamless for them to shop from their phones and to see lots of brands in one place. So I think the user base is a big deal for us to grow and to keep our users engaged and to keep them on our app.
So what makes you different from an Instagram and any other platform that is potentially doing anything similar to this?
Because we're all fashion and style. So Instagram is great for a lot of things, but they have so much other content. We're focusing on just one niche, which is the fashion and style industry. And then, you know, Amazon is great with lots of different products that you can buy, but they lack kind of like the social side of it, where fashion in and of itself is a very social art. You know, everything that you wear says something about who you are. And a lot of people need inspiration for their own style. So I think that bringing those two together and then just focusing on that niche is something that a lot of other companies can't compete with because they're not going to limit themselves to just fashion and style where that's what we are.
So moving forward, what are your biggest challenges going ahead? How you actually plan on executing this challenge? Just, I guess, talk a little bit about that.
Biggest challenges going forward, I think right now we're looking for a marketing specialist. That's something that both my co-founder Eric and we've done tons of research. We're reading books, we're watching videos, but we just need a little bit of help in the marketing sector. And I think that we fit a couple, you know, we check a couple of boxes with things that each of us can do and each of us are good at, but that's one of the boxes that we need help with, and we recognize that right away. And so I think that going forward, we'll look for somebody who can help us out with that aspect. And I guess maybe another challenge would be figuring out the logistics for our shop feature and how we're going to work with different companies, whether it be like you had mentioned earlier, consignment or drop shipping, or there's so many different opportunities and avenues we can go go with for how we work with these different companies. So I think it kind of depends on what the company needs and what they're looking for, and then how we can make it work with us.
And right now, obviously, if you join, does it cost money for a merchant, or what's the goal? What's the plan on when you bring on merchants to sell on your platform?
We haven't exactly ironed that part out yet. I know that we have talked about doing a subscription base for different companies to have an account on our platform. We've also toyed with the idea of giving a certain amount of warehouse space for free, and then anything over that they get charged for if they want to hold additional products in our warehouse. So that's something that, again, there's lots of different ways we can do it. And I think going forward, when we sit down with investors and, once we hash out all the shop features, we'll figure out a way that works best with both big companies and small companies, because we really want to get exposure for the small companies, as well as have the big companies benefit from using our platform as well.
So, thinking about today, who's your biggest competitor? Has anyone done anything similar to this at all?
There are a couple of brands that are similar to ours. Like to Know It is one that comes off the top of my head as one that is a potential competitor. However, they're more affiliate marketing with bloggers, like fashion bloggers and stylists, and they work solely with, like, they're an extension of Instagram, where we're our own platform. So that's something that differentiates us from them. And we also, starting out, I think we want to target the fashion bloggers and the stylists to get on our app, because that's where people get the inspiration from. But ultimately, we want to be for everybody. So, you or anybody could have an account on our platform, be able to shop, be able to get inspired and to give inspiration, because all of us have our own unique style. And that's something that we really want to share with people.
So how does a consumer join? Does it cost anything?
The app and sign in. The app is initially free in the Google and App Store, but upon completing the sign up process, you're going to get charged an in-app purchase of $1.99. This is just to give back to the community. We talk a lot about how we want to give back in so many different ways with Head to Toe. When we become successful, and then we were kind of like, well, why not start giving back now? So that $1.99 fee is given back to an organization called Clothes with Love. They're based out of Brooklyn, and they work to help underserved and underprivileged communities with food, shelter, clothing, things like that. So something that we pride ourselves on is giving back and being a company of, like, the people. So we thought, why not start giving back now? So the $1.99 does go to that organization when you sign up.
Tell me a little bit about your background. Where are you from? How did you get into this? What started the whole thing?
Okay, so I'm from a really, really small town, like 3,500 people, small town, farm town in eastern Colorado. So it's called Burlington. You've probably driven through it and not even known it's there if you've ever driven across the country. But growing up, I would say that fashion and style was always a struggle, just because the options were very limited. We were about 2.5 hours from a mall. So we would go shopping basically, one time before school, like maybe a day or two before Christmas, and that my shopping experiences were limited. And then as I got older and wanted to express myself more through my style, I found it an even bigger struggle, just because I couldn't find the things that I wanted. So it's always been a bit of a struggle for me to find styles that I felt like expressed who I was. And so that's part of the reason that Head to Toe has kind of come to be, is just I know that if I struggle with it, so many other people have too.
So you said that you were co-founded this company. Who is your co-founder, and what's his background?
So Eric is my co-founder, Eric Matthews. He's from like Katy, Texas, Houston, Texas area. His background, he played football in college and started getting his MBA, and then decided that he really didn't need to go to the classes to start his own business. And so he's had a couple things before Head to Toe, but we started working on this project about 2.5 years ago, and so that's where we're at, but that's his background.
And how did you guys meet?
school at the University of Memphis. So I was taking graphic design courses there, and that's what I graduated with, as a graphic design degree. And potentially, I guess, why I have designed the entire app. And you can kind of tell just from my design background, that's what I kind of take his visions and put it onto a computer or things like that. But yeah, so we met in Memphis 8 years ago, almost 7 years ago.
Has anyone helped you up until this point? This was all you're winging it on your own.
So we have an advisor, Dr. Alexander Milwaukee. He is an amazing man. He's such a blessing to have on our team. We met him about a year and a half ago through a pitch that we did. And it's kind of a funny story the way we met. But anyways, we linked up with him and kind of told him about the business and everything. And then he joined our team, and he's what gave us access to our development team that's in Poland, the Akanza development team, and they're amazing as well. I would recommend them to anybody, and hopefully we'll continue to work with them throughout the life of our app. But yeah, he's our advisor and the other beneficiary on our team.
So you mentioned that you met him at a pitch. So can you talk more about that? What was that?
So we pitched at 1 million cups last spring, and he actually wasn't even in the crowd. But, you know, upon everyone giving us feedback about our pitch and our idea and everything like that, they said, you know, because at the time we were looking for developers to develop the app. And so they told us to get in contact with him. And so I did a little bit of research, you know, my detective side, and found his name and his number, and called him up and was just like, hey, like, some people told me we should get in touch. And so we ended up meeting up, and just like I said, just a great man. He's super intelligent. He worked for NASA for about 25 years, an engineer. He was on the mission control team when they went to the moon. And so he just has so much experience in different things. And he liked us and liked our idea. And so we got hooked up with him, and the rest is kind of history. So
has he been involved with a lot of startup companies in the past?
Yeah, so I think he's part of about 20 different startups. Some of them are no longer around, but I think he has about 17 or 18 that still function and are still working right now as startups.
So what is 1 million cups for those who aren't familiar?
Cups is like a pitch event. They actually have them nationwide. 1 million cups stands for 1 million cups of coffee served. So everyone that goes and gets coffee, and then basically you just pitch in front of different people, whether it's, you know, anybody can show up to these events. I think we did one like on a Wednesday morning downtown here, like in Little Italy. But basically you're just pitching your idea in front of different people and networking, and sometimes there's people there that can help you, or people that can point you in the right direction, or people that have really good feedback for you, and sometimes they're not. But pitching is always a good opportunity to kind of hone your skills and really sharpen your pitch, so that you can just get better and better at it. And so that's what we did, and it ended up working out pretty well for us.
So besides for Dr. Milwaukee, anyone give you other pieces of advice that you can take with you?
I think we got lots of good feedback as far as different things that we can look forward to. There was a marketer there that kind of asked us some questions that we didn't have answers to at the time. And so that made us really think, because having these other perspectives when you're going through business is something that's very valuable, and taking a step back and, you know, making sure that whatever comes up, you have an answer for it, or that you can get an answer for it. And I think that's all business is basically, you know, you run into different issues and you just have to continue to solve them. And so having other people listen to your idea and critique you, you have to just take it as like, okay, well, once I have an answer for this, once I have a solution to this problem, that gets us one step closer to being where we want to be. So that's something that pitching, no matter who it's to or where it's at, it can always be beneficial.
what was the type of person that was there? There were a lot of business owners, people that invested in other companies. What type of atmosphere was it?
These pitch events, a lot of people that are there are potential investors. You have the marketing experts or the marketing specialists that can provide their services if you need them. A lot of other startups. There's a lot of business owners there because San Diego has a really unique, I guess, community where startups are really supportive of each other, which is awesome. So you have a lot of businesses there that are just looking to help each other and give each other ideas and offer solutions. So yeah, just like a good mix of different people.
So you obviously got introduced to Dr. Milwaukee. Is that a very unusual thing to have? Like you are one of a very, very select few who get that opportunity?
I think the way it worked out, it really was just kind of meant to be, because actually we didn't even have his contact info, and I just did some research and I ended up finding a phone number, and I called it, and at first he didn't answer, but when he answered, he said, "This is my home phone," and he said, "I haven't gotten a phone call on this phone for like 4 years." He said, "I thought it was just a telemarketer, and so I ignored it." He said, "But then you left your voicemail, so I called right back." So it was just kind of crazy the way it worked out. And I don't think that he, invests, or I don't think that he joins a lot of companies. I don't think he partners with a lot of companies, but we met up with him, and I guess he liked us and he liked our idea. And so we were very blessed to get that opportunity, but I think it kind of just worked out really well.
Has he gotten any equity in your company?
15%.
So are you looking for investment? What do you need to take the next steps? Is it only just money so that you can grow the app, or is it something that you can kind of bootstrap yourself?
So right now we're looking for an investment of $500,000. With this money, we will build out our shop feature, which hopefully we'll have. We're working on getting it over to the development team, and so that they're ready to build it when we have the funds to build it. But hopefully we'll have a shop feature up by the end of the year. And then with that investment, we'll also have Eric go full-time with Head to Toe, because right now we both have our day jobs that we work to be able to pay our bills and eat. So with that investment, he would be able to go full-time. And we would hire a marketing specialist and get our warehouse in Texas that we've already picked out and accounted for, everything like that. But yeah, and then obviously to grow the app, we want a decent marketing budget so that we can spread the word about it and get users on the app, so that then we can approach those companies the way we talked about before.
Jerae, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate you coming on and answering all of our questions. If anyone would like to contact Jerae, the information will be down below. Again, Jerae, thank you so much for joining the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate your questions and for just giving me the opportunity to kind of talk about Head to Toe. And yeah, we'll just keep going. We'll keep moving forward.
All right. So again, everyone, Head to Toe. The information's down below. Please check it out. I'm sure you're going to like what you see. Have a great day, guys.